Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are embarking on something I like to call an exam excavation. Seriously, imagine for a second that you are a paleontologist, but, instead of digging through millions of years of rock and dirt out in the desert to find dinosaur fossils, we're doing something a bit more relevant to your grades. We are meticulously digging through the incredibly complex layers of Cambridge 9618 past papers. Our ultimate goal here? To reconstruct the absolute perfect mark-winning answer from the fragmented remains of past student attempts. Look, most students lose incredibly easy marks on the 3D printer principal operations questions. It's tragic, honestly. They just leave points buried in the dirt. But after this session, you are not going to be one of them. I'm going to show you exactly what the Cambridge principal examiners are actively looking for, how to avoid the most common, devastating traps, and how to unearth every single mark you rightfully deserve. We're going to crack open those examiner reports, look at the precise data on where students mess up, and build a bulletproof, systematic approach to conquer this topic. So, grab your metaphorical pickaxes and brushes, and let's get digging.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Why do so many incredibly smart, hardworking students drop easy marks when it comes to 3D printer operations? I mean, you know what a 3D printer is, right? Well, the principal examiner reports for Cambridge Computer Science highlight a really fascinating trend. The issue isn't usually a lack of basic knowledge. The problem is that the assessment objectives target highly distinct cognitive domains. The exam is absolutely not testing your basic trivia knowledge. It's testing your analytical depth over superficial breadth. Think about it. When a student sees the words 3D printer on the exam paper, they often just completely panic. They switch into autopilot and start dumping every single fact they've ever memorized about 3D printing onto the page. They completely ignore the command words, they ignore the structural requirements of the question, and they just write. They end up writing these beautifully detailed, massive paragraphs that, unfortunately, score an absolute 0. Why? Because they didn't answer the specific question that was asked. This explainer is your definitive solution to that exact problem. We're going to replace that exam panic with surgical precision. We're replacing the data dumping with a highly strategic approach to every single question.
So here is our excavation map for today. We've got 4 major sites to dig through. 1. Core principles. 2. Technical methodology. 3. Our deconstruct, solve, evaluate system. And 4. Critical examiner warnings. Let's move.
Starting right off with Section 1, we need to lay down our core principles and theoretical foundations first.
To truly understand the challenge ahead of us, I want to look at 2 archetypal students. Let's call them Alex and Sam, and they're both tackling a real Cambridge past paper question. So, Alex overloads the answer with raw computer science facts. Alex gives the examiner the complete history of 3D printing, lists out every type of plastic filament used, and basically creates a massive, intimidating wall of text. The result? Barely any marks. There is absolutely zero analysis in Alex's answer. Alex has superficial breadth, but no actual depth. Now, on the other hand, let's look at Sam. Sam is in a huge rush. Sam completely misses the command word requirements of the question. If the command word explicitly says evaluate, Sam just describes. Listen to me. You cannot get marks if you are answering a fundamentally different question than the one printed on the paper. Both Alex and Sam are totally failing to utilize the PEAL framework. You know PEAL, right? Point, evidence, explanation, link. Top students structure their computer science answers by making a crystal clear point, backing it up with evidence directly from the given scenario, explaining the technical operation, and then tightly linking it back to the question asked.
The core reason Alex and Sam failed is because they completely misunderstood the academic benchmarks. The syllabus explicitly states that the assessment objectives for 3D printer operations target distinct cognitive domains. We're talking about knowledge and understanding, application and analysis. Let's break that down. Knowledge is simply knowing what a stepper motor is. Okay, great. Application is explaining how that specific stepper motor functions within the exact 3D printer mentioned in your exam scenario. And analysis? That's breaking down the time complexity or the operational logic of the software controlling that motor. The Cambridge exam heavily prioritizes this analytical depth. You've got to shift your brain from simply recalling information to actively analyzing the given parameters. It is all about logical, structured, and evidence-based reasoning. Remember, the examiner isn't looking for a Wikipedia article. They're looking for a highly targeted analytical response.
Which brings us nicely to Section 2, Technical Methodology. This is where we reveal the strategy.
Now we arrive at what is arguably the most important concept in the entire syllabus, the method mark strategy. Before we continue, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, @AceTheExams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now. Okay, back to method marks. In computer science, examiners actually award marks for your systematic process and your clear working out. This is a game changer. This means that if you're asked to perform some complex calculation regarding the operational data of a 3D printer, and let's say you make a tiny, silly arithmetic error at the very end, you can still get the vast majority of the marks. But, and this is a massive but, this only works if you actually show your logical steps. Method marks are your ultimate safety net. If you don't write down your working, you're essentially walking a tightrope without a net underneath you. You have to prove to the examiner that your brain is following the correct sequence of logic, even if your calculator betrays you at the last second.
Let's move to the next step and see how this builds. The syllabus tells us exactly what data interpretation skills are critical here. It's a three-step dance. Step 1, extract from binary representations. You need to really understand how digital binary instructions are translated into actual physical movements by the 3D printer. Step 2, perform calculations. In an exam context, this could involve calculating the memory required for a 3D model, or maybe the time taken for a print job based on layer thickness and print speed. Step 3, draw evidence-based conclusions. This is the grand finale, where you tie it all together. You have to explain exactly why the printer is acting the way it is, entirely based on the data you've just processed. This three-step process is the absolute core of your technical methodology. You have to master this transition from binary data to physical output. To make this even more concrete, I visually chunked the standard sequence required for systematic processing. Think of me as your insider examiner directly instructing you right now. When you face a 3D printer question, I want you to follow this precise flow. First, identify the key elements in the scenario. What are we dealing with? Is it an industrial printer or a desktop model? Second, apply the relevant principles. What theoretical frameworks from the syllabus actually apply here? Third, execute your analysis. And please, remember to show your clear working to capture every single one of those method marks. Fourth, verify your results. Just do a quick sanity check. Does your answer logically make sense in the real world? And finally, present your answer properly. This means using the absolute correct computer science terminology and formatting your answer clearly. Do not, under any circumstances, write a messy, disorganized paragraph. Use bullet points or clear sequential sentences that an exhausted examiner can easily read and reward.
We are making fantastic progress. Let's transition over to Section 3, Deconstruct, Solve, Evaluate. This is the transformation phase. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate problem-solving framework specifically mapped to algorithm evaluations for 3D printer operations. Look at the phase column. We have deconstruct, solve, and evaluate. For our action items, when we deconstruct, we are identifying the given information from the prompt. When we solve, we break the entire problem into logical, bite-sized steps and execute them systematically. When we evaluate, we check for reasonableness and make justified recommendations. But I really want you to look at that third column, algorithm quality checks. When a 3D printer is running its operational code, we have to evaluate the quality of that underlying algorithm. We must consider time complexity. For instance, how long will the slicing software take to process a highly detailed 3D mesh? We also have to consider space complexity. Does the printer's onboard memory actually have enough capacity to store the entire G-code file, or does it need to be streamed bit by bit? And finally, edge cases. What happens when the printer operates at its absolute maximum parameters? You must integrate these algorithm checks right into your evaluate phase.
To pull all of this off successfully, you need to deeply cultivate algorithmic thinking. The 9618 syllabus defines this through 4 critical pillars. First up is step-by-step decomposition. You must take the massive, complex operation of 3D printing and break it down into tiny, manageable micro-operations. Second, appropriate data structure selection. How exactly is the 3D model data being stored and manipulated within the system? Third, efficient code implementation. How does the software flawlessly translate digital logic into the physical, real-world movement of the X, Y, and Z axes? And fourth, rigorous testing. You always have to anticipate errors. These 4 pillars, they are completely non-negotiable. If you try to answer a high-mark question without utilizing algorithmic thinking, you are inevitably going to hit a wall. You have to start viewing the 3D printer not just as a cool physical machine, but as the physical manifestation of executed algorithms.
All right, it is time for a rapid interactive excavation workshop. But first, stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at @acetheexams_IGCE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2 to 3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to @acetheexams_IGCE and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions. Okay, back to the workshop. Challenge 1. Scan the data table in your mind. Notice the relationship between layer resolution and processing time. The core trend is incredibly clear. As resolution increases, time complexity scales nonlinearly. Challenge 2. Spot the flaw in a sample paragraph. Imagine a student writes a totally generic description of a 3D printer, completely ignoring the specific medical scenario outlined in the prompt. What's the flaw? They failed to link part of the Peel framework. They didn't link it back. Finally, Challenge 3. Think about how you would execute speed writing to craft one perfect Peel paragraph explaining how binary data drives stepper motors. Point, evidence, explanation, link. Formulating your thoughts logically and writing with speed and precision is exactly what builds the mental muscle memory you absolutely need for the actual exam.
Let's move into Section 4, Critical Examiner Warnings. It's time to talk about the booby traps.
Now I'm putting on my examiner hat. We need to look at the absolute #1 mistake reported by principal examiners: confusing cause with effect. Students constantly mix up the correct sequence of operations. For example, writing that the physical movement of the printhead causes the binary signals to be generated. That is entirely backwards. The correct logical sequence is that the software processes the model, which generates the binary instructions, which are then sent to the microcontroller, which then physically drives the stepper motors to move the printhead. Do you see the difference? Cause and effect must be logically and chronologically sound. If you swap them around, you are demonstrating to the examiner a fundamental lack of understanding of the system's architecture, and they will ruthlessly dock your marks. You have to tell the story of the data in the exact, correct chronological order.
Beyond just cause and effect, let's really break down the top 3 fatal mistakes in their entirety. We just covered number 1, confusing cause and effect. Number 2 is a massive trap, forgetting to check boundary conditions and edge cases. Examiners constantly note that students rarely consider what happens at the extreme ends of the operational parameters. What actually happens if the printhead attempts to move past its physical maximum axis limit? Or what happens if the memory buffer completely overflows during a massive high-resolution print? You have to show the examiner that you are actively anticipating these edge cases. And number 3, answers that are not specific to the context given in the question. Listen, if the exam question describes a 3D printer being used in a high-tech aerospace manufacturing facility to create titanium engine parts, and your answer talks about printing little plastic toys at home, you will lose marks. Your application of knowledge must be perfectly tailored to the specific scenario provided on the paper. Context is king.
So the crucial point is summarized perfectly by this exact quote, pulled straight from the Cambridge Examiner Insights. Even if your final answer is wrong, method marks can save you. I'm emphasizing this massive point again because it is literally the difference between passing and failing. It's the difference between walking away with an A or settling for a B. When you are performing any kind of calculations regarding binary extraction or spatial complexity in 3D printer operations, you absolutely must write down your step-by-step logic. The examiner actually wants to give you marks. They are actively hunting for reasons to award you points for your cognitive process. So please do not hide your brilliance inside your head. Put it on the paper. Clear notation and systematic working act as an impenetrable insurance policy for your final grade.
We have finally reached the culmination of our excavation. This right here is the ultimate algorithmic system for tackling literally any 9618 question on this topic. I call it the Success Blueprint. Step 1, deconstruct the question. Decode those command words and figure out exactly what is actually being asked. Step 2, extract all the relevant data from the scenario. Step 3, select the correct analytical framework, utilizing that Peel structure we talked about. Step 4, execute your solution with absolute clear notation, locking in those method marks. And finally, Step 5, present your answer with highly accurate, subject-specific computer science terminology. Listen to me, this isn't just a list of helpful tips. This is a comprehensive, engineered system that guarantees top marks if you follow it religiously. If you master this blueprint, you master the exam.
Students who implement these computer science strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our weekly videos. Think about that for a second. 2 entire grade boundaries. That is massive, and it's achieved simply by shifting your methodology from chaotic, panicked memorization to structured algorithmic analysis. The data simply doesn't lie. The students who succeed aren't necessarily the ones with the best memory. They are the ones with the absolute best strategy. They are the ones who deeply understand how to navigate the examiner's precise requirements. Remember, improving your grade boundary isn't just about grinding out hard work. It's about smart, targeted strategy. Take these insights, apply them relentlessly to your past papers, and watch your mark potential absolutely skyrocket. Here's your final reminder.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to acetheexams_IGCSE and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. Also, drop a comment below with your target grade for computer science and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this video with a study partner. Ace the Exams. Your Cambridge success starts here.
As we wrap up this incredible excavation session, I want to leave you with one final provocative question to think about. Will you leave your method marks buried in the dirt, or will you systematically extract every single point you deserve on your next paper? You now have the map. You have the excavation tools. You know the exact cognitive domains the examiners are actively testing, and you know the fatal booby traps to avoid. The choice is entirely yours. Next time you sit down with a past paper, don't just blindly read the questions, deconstruct them. Apply the blueprint. Show you're working. Be the meticulous paleontologist of your own success. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into 3D printer principal operations. Keep practicing, keep analyzing, and I will see you in our next masterclass.